Hello, welcome back. I'm Greg. This is Art of Cycling. This is the final day of the tour. And I'm going to be brave here because this is an image that I have screwed up before. So we'll see if this works. And I like that I get a different point of view this time. So there was some question. So the tour, the final stage got shortened. The riders did all the sign-in in the usual start town. And then they all piled into their buses and headed to the Champs-Élysées for the start. And it was, there was no neutralized start and no preamble through town. So the question was, are they... Yeah, see, I'm already in trouble. We're just barely going to get poor Adam Yates into the painting. But we got him there. So there was some question whether they might come right out of the gun racing. We got Großschartner's arm. And then number 6. Who is number 6? I don't think I've painted him yet. Yep. Florian Vermeersch. So on the final day, he finally gets, he's the last member of the team to get painted. So, and then UAE changed its jersey, which is the prerogative. You're allowed to change your jersey of your own volition once per season. And I think they wisely save their change for the final stage of the Tour de France. Shows you their confidence in their guy, Tadej. So he today will become, at the end of the day, I like this symmetry, the 5th rider to officially win 5 Tours de France. Notice the emphasis on officially. Because for those of you who've watched the tour for a long time, you will know that Lance Armstrong won 7 before having all of his victories stripped from his and the records of the Tour de France. What is kind of interesting is they didn't simply give the victory to the next, the next guy. They simply left, on the official records, there are no winners of the Tour de France for 7 years straight. Great googly muggly. All right. So not only is this tough for me to draw, but there's a certain amount of skill required. Now, these guys live on their bicycles. So, thinking that somebody's going to spill, although it's come close in the past. But this is the traditional, the whole team poses together, linked arm in arm. And I'll probably get the photographer who's getting the traditional shot here in a moment. But it's very rare. I guess I could go back because since 2012, as you know, I have been painting the Tour de France. And this moment happens in every tour. And I think this is the first time I've been afforded the back view. So I was very pleased with that. Maybe I got that opportunity because of the start on the Champs-Élysées. What's also changed with the shop, it used to be, it was a procession all the way from the start village. Apparently today the buses took the same route that the riders would have taken. So all the fans that had staked out their spot, and for all we know, because the tour is the same, the route is the same on the final day for, well, up until, well, the lead into the stage, there we go. The lead into the stage has been the same for decades. So people all know where they want to be and have kind of established that. And then poof. And the reasoning is because of the wildfires. They've shortened the stage mainly to protect allocation of resources should any of the fires really kick up. Let's hope that doesn't happen. And I think there may be a bit of a relief in the peloton because the predicted rain, now bad for the firefighters, but good for cyclists, is the predicted rain is not happening. And since Paris has raced, most of this race is on cobblestones, it comes as a great relief to the peloton not to have to deal with that. And let's face it, I mean, that can really put everybody's tour in jeopardy. Because while Tadej is 7 minutes ahead of Remco isn't in here because he's not a jersey wearer. 7 minutes ahead of Remco. Tadej has to finish the stage to be the winner of the Tour de France. Now, I imagine heaven and earth will be moved to make sure that happens. But, I don't know that that's ever happened in the Tour, that somebody lost the yellow jersey on the final day. Well, it did when Greg LeMond won, but that was because they had two stages. They had a time trial that he won and took the stage victory off of his teammate. Oops. Got my perspective line wrong there, guys. Not exactly sure where we are. I don't think we're on the Champs anymore. In fact, I'm sure of it because there's trees right here on this side of the road. And the Champs is way, I mean, there are, of course there are trees on both sides of the Champs-Élysées, but not that close together. So we've apparently hit the side street. Yeah, in fact, I think this building right here is the end of the Louvre. It's a big U-shaped structure with the famous crystal pyramid or glass pyramid in the center. So I don't think they're going to race past that today. They might. We'll see. I didn't work in the motorcyclist, but you wouldn't be able to see him anyway. And we forgot Tade's arm. Okay, there we go. So it wasn't as much of a disaster as I feared. In the past, I've tried to do one of these and had to throw it away, even before I got to the paint part. And see, the reason I was panicky, as you may have noticed, that was done with permanent marker. And you also noticed, because I started with blank paper with this video, there was no preliminary sketch. So it's always interesting to see how the team chooses to, oops, he doesn't have one, trick themselves out for the yellow. Is like Lance, again, who never won the Tour de France. They would just, I think it was pretty simple, they would just have yellow socks and gloves and bar tape. But UAE, now of course UAE has a huge budget. Most of the time Lance won those. He was riding for the postal team. And didn't quite have the ginormous budget. I mean, we are talking about the postal company. Postal service, I should say. So anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. UAE has put everyone on yellow bikes, with the exception of Del Toro, who was on a white bike, which is where I made my mistake there, in celebration of his white jersey. So while the team did not win the points classification, the team classification, which for the winner's team is usually a difficult thing because so many riders necessarily sacrifice themselves out on the road to make sure their guy wins the stage. And of course that means they finish very late in the stage. And then by so doing, end up with really bad times, just like Vermeersch, who I have not painted until today, was always assigned with the early pacemaking, and therefore frequently was not there in any way to contest the finale. It's also interesting if they put the team all in white. Except for, ironically, the one guy who has the white jersey. And he's wearing black. shorts is what I'm referring to. So because of that, I'm going to sit here and do a little shading. And I see that I forgot somebody's yellow 5. So I did not realize that only 5 guys have won 5 Tours de France, and officially nobody has won more than that. So putting in this, hey guys, you let me do it again. I rather like this one. What do you all think? So now just working on the trees. So theoretically, tradition goes that the team of the yellow jersey comes up. Well, this of course is when they enter into Paris. So the first time they hit the Champs-Élysées, the team of the winner of the yellow jersey goes onto the Champs-Élysées first. So because one, they're on the front of the peloton right now, and I think they're going to respect that tradition and let Tade's UAE team hit the Champs-Élysées first. If I remember correctly, the change to the race course means they're going to do 8 laps instead of, I think, the original 4 or 5. And one of those in there is going to include the intermediate sprint. Now, that jersey is sealed up. There's no way anybody can get enough points. The only person who would even have a chance, who's even close, would be Jasper Philipsen. So I expect him to pop out and try to get those points sort of as a badge of honor. Because then we do 3 circuits that include going up to the summit of Montmartre, where the Sacré-Cœur is. One of my favorite areas of Paris. I mean, it is the artist's quarter. Well, so is the left bank, but which this year we're not going to ride on the left bank at all. So I am nearing completing this piece, obviously. And it's time to remind you, of course, that I would appreciate a thumbs up or a comment. What did you think of this tour? Been a lot of conversation about it with Tade kind of seizing control so early, and particularly once Vingegaard went out, that it was a pretty boring tour. I didn't find it as such, but I mean, the winner of the tour was never in doubt, but that's not all that's going on. So what did you think? What do you think of the cycling art? And also to remind you that I will be back Saturday, today being Sunday, for the start of the Tour de France Femme. And if you want some exciting racing, watch the women. So, of course, all of the work of the tour, a little over, roughly 20% has sold. So that obviously means there's 80% still available, plus what I do today. And they're all at theartofcycling.blogspot.com. There'll be links there to take you to my website, gregleach.com, where you can purchase paintings and or prints of any of the images. Not any of the images, prints on some of the images, and securely. And thank you again so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the tour as much as I did.